Good morning. Well, we thought yesterday in the green room maybe we get a gap up, but gap down is better. It's not gapping into support yet on the Qs. So it may just need to continue down, which is just fine. We'd rather have it make a quick move down to support because that typically sets up a decent bounce. The depth of this retracement suggests it's not going back up to the high, the way it's come down. And as you start looking through other stocks, the way they're coming down, that would be confirmed by the wide range bars, big bearish wide range bars that we see everywhere. Anyway, some jiggles on the economic reports. There are others coming out at 9:45, so be aware of that. Ultimately, with the way this is going down and what we do, looking to the left, minor support, it's a little further away. Whatever attempted bounce failed. And prices have, you can see the cursor, prices got some room to go before they reach this 394 area. There's a pivot low there. There's that minor support, little congestion, so give or take. It's never an exact number. But that is the area where there is a significant support area that everybody will be looking at to see if it begins to hold there. And then on the smaller time frames, it'll do something other than this, meaning it'll start to go sideways. It'll form maybe a W. It'll have a breakdown failure. It'll have some confirming pattern that buyers are stepping up and taking control. Other markets, some are already at support. Take a look at those. We don't get data on this, so I'm not sure where this is at. But right now it's in an area of support. The spiders, they're on support, rising 20 MA. And while that's not marked with a pivot, because this is a lower low to that bar, this is a significant support area. That red bar was ignored, and we look at the hourly chart, we see the pivots. So there's no indication that this is going to hold here for the moment. And got a small pivot low down here at 464. So if the Qs continue down to that minor support area, this would be a level to pay attention to on the spiders. It's not a big support. Just looking further, there's really nothing there. So why would it hold? Well, the only reason I think it might hold is because if it gets down there, if the Qs are at support, that market starts to move up. It's led the way down since it led the way up. Maybe it just hangs there for a moment and then keeps going. So, look, that's a 640 or 460 whole number. That may be it. They'll set alerts and we'll see. And then, when prices get to targeted areas where there's alerts, we'll see what happens from that point. There's this line here. There's an unfilled gap there as well in that area. So that's another reference point besides that pivot that's over here. So set alerts. TBT is up. It means interest rates are up, gapping up to the high of a red bar. Do they have a wetness meeting yesterday? I have no idea what that means, Earl. If someone else does, enlighten me. I don't know what a wetness meeting is. But interest rates are moving up. So markets moving down. Economic reports that came out, I guess, were not actually a little stronger than what was anticipated as far as jobless claims. It's not what the market wants. Wants to see more jobless claims, weakness. The Fed's doing what they're doing is having an effect. The Dow's holding up very well, actually up a little bit. Looks like up. I don't know where this is at. Looks like in the middle of that red bar. Why the number is red here? Anyway, it's definitely showing relative strength. IWM, that's into that unfilled gap for now. There's still time to go, but breaking down, it doesn't looks like an example of a wide range bar. But look, we knew this was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. You just don't know how it's going to unfold. But look, a greater than 100% retracement, a momentum move to the upside. It was going to get a retracement. So we'll just see how far this goes. Other than the unfilled gap, as you can see, there's nothing to stop it until it gets down here. So I don't know that's going to happen today. We'll all see together, but knowing that it is in that unfilled gap and it's down several days in a row, we'll see what happens. Wednesday, YouTube at noon. Oh, was there an MT Live yesterday? No, there wasn't. We took an MT Live day off. We'll have one next week. So a lot of things at reference points, and we'll just see how they're going to hold or not. It's not there, so here, this unfilled gap, the only thing is because it's down several days in a row, why it might hold that area. But things to, see, do the Qs get down into this significant support area? Ideally, they do. Mid caps, came through the gap already. There isn't anything there. Not much of an update there, but you see the same congestion areas on all markets. SMH, one of the markets that led the way up, and it's coming into, as you can see, an unfilled gap. So another market to keep an eye on, and some minor support. As we look at these different markets, especially technology, does it begin to hold, which gives us at least an indication that other markets have a tendency to hold. XLK, maybe has to get to major support. But anyway, as we look at these different markets, we'll see, what happens. Internals, our sentiment is nowhere near telling us that the market is ready to make any kind of a stabilization. So that doesn't mean they can't stabilize and have an intraday move up or a green day or whatever. It's just not to the point where our expectation based on market internals that any turn that may occur is going to result in a significant move up. I did not go over SPX yet. I will, seeing that markets are pretty much in the same place as when I did look. So I said yesterday, the top strike which was higher, looking for the markets to move down early on. Top strike should have been not touched. Now this bottom strike being down where it is, that's kind of uncertain, but look, markets are down. This one, it's not going to get hit early on. So if the markets do move down, which they look like they're going to continue to, or cues at what I explained, could this get down to that level? Hell yeah. Look, we got this topping pattern here. I mean, these are on support. So the question is, do the S&Ps maybe continue to stabilize here and hold the Qs from reaching down, or do the Qs keep dropping? And then everybody's like this, the psychology of, the thinking of other traders is like, hey, the ones that want to buy, that are looking at price action, which hey, everybody's going to look to where their support is, um, where they're going to be more comfortable to step in. If one market is dropping, why are anybody going to want to buy this one? This one may continue to hold up better than the Qs do, techs, which they did yesterday, but they just held support. Now we'll see if they break first thing in the morning. Right. Futures going to be much different, but let's look at the continuous contracts. You can see it's down through this area. There isn't much to stop it. So again, that's the concern. Not concern, just look, to think that things are going to go up at this point without any area of support or indication, like a wide range bar on a 5-minute or a breakdown failure or going sideways for a half hour or an hour or so, reason to think that there's going to be a significant move up from here. S&Ps are holding at pivot levels for the moment, so it'll be interesting to see if they do. Yeah, and there you go. Just again, this is a moving thing, of course. If the market should continue to drop, depends on how fast it drops. This number could be 4660, which would be even better. And if it drops fast in 46, if you can get a 4600, which is not going to happen today, but a 4650, where there tends to be higher open interest, there tends to provide more significant support levels just based on that open interest versus and a whole number. And ideally, if there was some support there, actual price support, that would be even better. Crude oil has a downside shakeout, Earl. Talked about that over a week ago, about that was developing. What horseman is the weakest this morning? Tech Qs are the weakest, Alex. So this drop and deep retracement, which is more obvious on like XLE, which they had good days yesterday. The oil sector ETFs had a wide range bar. So this had the break and the deep retracement. We talked about this over a week ago. That this was going to develop or should develop. And what we coined this as a downside shakeout is because it was sideways. It makes a sharp drop. It makes a sharp advance right back up again. And then it goes sideways at resistance. We call this absorbing supply. Sometimes we refer to as bullish price action because it's at resistance and it doesn't go down. And now we've got a confirming bar, big green bar here. So it's up a little bit. It's at the next level, but this is obviously beginning to bottom. And if we look at the crude oil, you see it got real close to this support level down here. So as it was coming down, at the end of last year, our conversation pre-market was, as this comes down here, we look to see if buyers begin to step up and if oil starts to move up. And part of that conversation included interest rates. So interest rates are coming down to support. So if interest rates begin to make a turn and oil begins to make a turn, the dollar begins to make a turn, all of that came to fruition and the market would have corrective price action. And that is what's going on right now. So, and we just do what we're doing here pre-market. We look at different support levels and into market analysis and market internals to see when markets will begin to stabilize. And then, of course, going out, whether it's a month or 2 months or whatever it's going to be, how this correction unfolds and where it may begin to set up a more significant attempt to advance. Gold. Now, here's something interesting. Right now, gold, it's interesting because I was at a Republican meeting last night. Now, I'll share it with you in the weekend letter. We talked about the fact that gold has been going sideways here for a couple of years and may be ready to advance. And so it's really erratic and whippy. But listen to this. Florida Republican meeting, they have a bill that they're floating out there that they're going to try and pass to have a digital currency based on gold and silver. Got kind of crazy, where they're like trying to bring the gold standard back here in Florida, but they expect you. I don't know. At that point, I walked out of the meeting, but they're expecting you to buy gold and silver and convert your dollars to gold and silver, and then have a digital currency that you can go buy coffee at Starbucks. So I wanted to tell them, hey, maybe if you could stop spending the effing money. And you see the news yesterday, $1 trillion in debt increased in 15 days. Right. I mean, they're talking about the dollar and weakness in the dollar and blah, blah, blah. Politicians getting into this kind of stuff. That was a little unnerving, right? I think so, David. So silver going down. I mean, just sharing kind of conversation. If they're talking about this, that the governor and whoever is in favor of such things, this kind of ideas just kind of, it's like if there's one roach, there's going to be others. Others are going to start talking about this kind of stuff. Just keep it in mind. Um, Bitcoin, you had a crazy day yesterday after that breakout, but so far holding support. So the short to the long analysis is, these markets, some are at support, some are at unfilled gaps. Technology is not, but relatively close. So any quick shifts intraday, maybe get a big negative or a couple of them minus downtick readings. And when I see downtick readings, maybe things begin to stabilize in sometime today or tomorrow. We'll see. Just remember there's some numbers at 9:45 that could cause some jiggles. All yours, Dan. That's funny. Pavel on social media saying a younger generation will convert parents' jewelry and silverware to crypto. Maybe.
Good morning. So, Greg, I didn't hear that about the digital currency, but the way you explained it, it just sounds like an ETF. For you have to tie the U.S. dollar to it to get back on the true
No,
gold
what they're saying is, the idea is to convert your cash into gold and silver, and then you'll have this digital currency based on the value of your gold and silver.
Oh, but then that just sounds like an ETF, the GLD and SLV combined. I don't have to
No, and they're expecting you'll have a digital wallet. So now they're thinking, oh, what's ever happening in the dollar, and they start talking about how weak the dollar is and you're buying of your dollar. They started getting into stuff that they just shouldn't, right? And they're saying, oh, the dollar is so weak from whatever point in time. And meanwhile, I don't want to get into things. It's like, oh, from 2001, the dollar had a hell of an advance. And from, 2000, and 14 or whatever, the dollar's up a lot. So, you know, politicians should do research. They just like, my impression was these are guys, maybe they have somebody had a brain idea. They think it's a great idea, but now they want people to let's go get your cash, right? Which the government wants to get digital currencies. Go get your cash, convert it into their digital currency that's based on gold and silver. And now you can go, as I said, to Starbucks or wherever. What merchants are now going to take this Florida digital currency, and then, of course, can you go to New York? Can you go to wherever, any other states? Is it going to work there? So I heard this idea floating out there. I figured I'd share it today because we're going to hear more about it. They're going to have this bill they're going to try and pass in Florida. It's out there now where they're obviously promoting it, trying to see if they can get support.
Well, let's talk about it later. But I think the key is if they're abolishing the dollar or if it's just an additional digital currency, I just think it's an ETF with a credit card. All right, but let's continue here. So alarms going off. I have an up alarm on FANG. We bought the stock and sold a put spread. That looks good. Snow. Low alarm. We have a call spread. That looks great. Knee. Up alarm. Just a little swing trade. I don't expect a lot, but if we get $2, that's a new idea. Other big things in the news. Apple, another downgrade. I just think, it's only $2.40 more to get to the 200 MA. That would be such a beautiful place for a reversal. So that's on our watch list. Mobileye here, an earnings warning, and it is getting whacked. Mobileye Global. I don't even know the fundamentals of this. Alex, in terms of a real company, how would you rate this 1 to 10 in terms of real? Okay. So the reason I'm asking that is that's friggin' over 25% gap down. That is nasty if it's a real company. So McGraw told me Intel is not a direct cousin, but a little bit related. So we see that's getting whacked pretty good. He told me NXPI is a cousin. That's getting whacked. That's going on my list. So I'll watch those two. And then I think Alex told me SWK. No, I take that back. These were just these were two other downgrades by whoever downgraded Apple. But this still has a way to go. We just got to sit back and be patient and see how these reversals set up. Now this one looks closer to a reversal. Wow. Because you got all these converging MAs and so forth. I'm going to put this in a different window. Microchip. That. Yeah, and Alex mentioned Texan is getting drugged down with them 162.50. Sure, let's watch that too. Thomas on YouTube. Yeah, we did a couple of oils yesterday. Yeah, a lot of things bottoming. Yeah, XOM. Yeah, put it on the list. Another bottoming pattern. Sure. PSX. That's much stronger. It's an uptrend. We also did Oki yesterday, gas and oil. Breakout daily, weekly, monthly looks great. Yeah, I am very. I was just finishing that. Yeah, XLE, we did a put spread. Bottoming pattern, big old inverse head and shoulders. Look at that. Greg already told you, but it played out 100% perfect. You get two big wide bars, deep retracement, going sideways 2 weeks at resistance. There's your neckline. Yesterday's a closing breakout. So we sold a put spread. EOG up alarm. We also bought a half lot of stock in this and sold a put spread. So those were the 3 or 4 oils we did. Let me set a new up alarm. All right. earnings. So that those are some. Oh, another big thing in the news. It's all over CNBC. Lilly gonna start selling weight loss drugs direct, whatever, bypassing these clowns. So let's keep an eye on Charlie India, UNH, CVS, obviously, keep their hands out of the middleman business. Uh, these were earnings right here. CAG was down, now up. Must have had a conference call or something. I don't know what to do with it right now, so I have to wait. LNN has low volume. I can't see where it's gapping. We'll come back. R dust, no pattern. Lima whiskey, no pattern. RPM down to 103. There you go. That's a good location. Minor support in the 200. I'll put that in a window. Sample. No pattern. WBA. 2420. We'll come back. Home. No pattern. The APA was an oil bottoming pattern, but now the gap's messing it up. So just move on. CPE 35, 35. Now this could be a nice 30-minute high trade. This is a bull flag. Ah, you're right. Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. You're right. It was not earnings. You're right. Ah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I typed things in here and I just forgot the news item. So yeah, APA is down because it bought CPE. So what I'm about to say here is moot. This is a bull flag pole, 30-degree counter trend consolidation. But for this being a breakout, I'm a buyout, that would be a good gap trade. 10, 15, 30-minute high. I don't know. All right, so let's just forget those now. ENPH and Run had downgrades, but they need to go lower and reverse. So there's nothing to do right now. All right, NXPI I'm watching. Right here in the middle chart. XLE up alarm. So yeah, oils, we've had some nice entries yesterday. Setting new alarms. Microchip moving here. So that's the one I said I kind of liked in terms of down a lot near support. And you can see the stock market participants are agreeing with my technical bias. I just don't like gap and goes unless it's an igniting gap and I can be aggressive. But if it holds these gains, maybe 30-minute high, but definite put spread. Let me check right now. I see RPM is holding in this area on the gap down on the earnings. All right, microchip. The $80.80, there are no 81s. There's no weeklies and they're spready. But this is a definite 80, 77 and a half put spread watch right now is 50 cents. Alec, your MET alarm went off. I know that's on your list. All right, let's let that settle down. Microchip, Met. Yeah, there's your Met. It's a sloppy 1, 2, 3 because of the deep retracement, but it's bullish daily, weekly, monthly. Met. KRE. All right, so here's Exxon Mobil, PSX. I know PSX is substantially stronger, but I kind of like this catch up XOM. Let me see if there's any juice here at 102. The 102.99, $3 whites, 41 cents. Yeah, let's do this. It's next week put spread. I'll do the pretty version later after I get caught up here in a few minutes. It's 45 now. 46. XLE. All right, we have Fang, Long, Oki, and Oki looks fantastic. Yeah, hats off to Alex for directing my attention to a bunch of these nice oils yesterday. All right, so Oki, we're long stock and short. No, we're not short puts because there was not enough juice. We're in EOG. And Fang. All right, so they're all good and under control. Oh shoot, Tango Whiskey stopped us up. That was a nice, that was a 1, 2, 3 to add. All right, done with Tango Whiskey. Spot the dog. We have a call spread. Snow had the gap down. Let's. Oh, I said move stop. Oh shoot, I didn't tell you all pre-market. Well, because the room wasn't open. But here I gave this and I moved stop 5-minute high. So let me see where we're at right now. 197, 202. Thirty cents. So we did a put spread 84, 82 yesterday.